What's up, guys? It's BZ. You're probably here because you want to know how to play Unholy in the new 12.0.5 update. And I am here to go over some of those changes and give a quick rundown on the updated rotation with Cycle of Death being played now in keys. We have a new talent, Cycle of Death, which most top players are taking in exchange for dropping Ray's A-Bomb, which received a slight nerf over the 12.0.5 update. But this also allows us to take Blight Burst, which in my opinion is very nice feeling in keys. You have to press Outbreak a whole lot less. Only other changes really that happened, Soul Reaper, Reaping were moved up a little further in the tree, and then Putrid Echoes is now giving us 2 additional charges of Putrefy, so we have 3 total, and every time we press Putrefy or Soul Reaper, we are spending 2, up to 2 charges. However, this does change rotation a little bit if you elect to play Cycle of Death. Putrefy reduces the cooldown of Death and Decay by a second, and then Death and Decay in turn reduces the cooldown of Putrefy by a third of a second for each enemy it damages up to 3 seconds. So if you stack this on a whole lot of enemies, you're getting a lot of CDR back. So this is really strong right now, and all of the top key parses are running this along with Blight Burst and dropping A-Bomb. In Raid, you can probably drop Cycle of Death and take Summon Gargoyle with your standard Raid build. We're not taking A-Bomb anymore at all, but don't run Gargoyle in keys ever. It's basically useless in keys. Okay, before I jump into the rotation, I just wanted to touch on a few mistakes that I see a lot of Unholy DKs making when they play, or that we are spending our Putrefy, all of our charges in our opener, and then only once Putrefy charges are spent, then we press Death and Decay. And we are only touching both Putrefy and Death and Decay during Dark Transformation's uptime. And lastly, spend your cooldowns. You never want to miss that 45-second cycle between Dark Transformation and Army of the Dead. And if you end up holding your Dark Transformation casts, that leads to you having to wait on your army cast or just casting it without Dark Transformation, and you'll lose a whole lot of damage from that. So even if you have no mobs, you're running from pack to pack, you're not gonna get any value out of it. You're still pressing Dark Transformation to keep this 45 seconds in line with this 1.5-minute cooldown. All right, let's jump into the rotation. I'll run it slowly at first, and then we can jump into it at full speed afterwards, so you can see exactly how much damage you can be doing if you run your rotation correctly. So slow first, we start off, obviously making sure our ghoul is up, and then Outbreak, and then we're hitting Festering Scythe. From there, we're going to make sure we hit Army of the Dead and Dark Transformation. We're hitting Soul Reaper right afterwards. Sometimes you might not want to overcap on Runic. You want to spend a charge. You can send a coil, spend your next Putrefy. Get rid of your 2 caps. And then once all Putrefy is spent, we're hitting our Death and Decay and just spending all of our Runic power, sending Putrefys whenever they come up, and building from there, spending when we see procs. All right, now let's run this rotation at full speed. All right, so you can see, running the rotation full speed, we're hitting around 200, no buffs, no anything. I did pop a pot of Recklessness during that since that's macroed into my Army of the Dead, but around 200k DPS on just 3 targets, that's feeling pretty good. And that is how you play the new Unholy DK in the 12.0.5 patch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to send any other questions that you have in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all of that, or I will find you. Thanks for watching.